Hindi ka pa ba sigurado kung sino yung boboto mo sa paparating na eleksyon? Makinig ka, FRC fam, kasi this episode is for you. Ang pitch namin, vote wisely. Sino nga ba si Wisely? Kilalanin natin for this episode. And for our episode for this month's Church Alive, we have none other than Attorney Ted Te, a teacher of law in UP and Ateneo, and also a member of Ang Ligayan ng Panginoon Community. Ayan. Welcome, Attorney Ted.
Hi, Rap.
To Church Alive.
Good to be back after that episode.
Yes,
before.
tama. The past episode that we've had you here, naka-Zoom pa kami.
Naka-Zoom pa, yes.
Wala pa yung studio setup
yes,
and everything.
Yes.
We're glad to have you, Attorney Ted, especially for this episode that's very specific to our upcoming elections. And so we want to hear more of your insights as you would share with us how to indeed vote for wisely. Vote wisely. Kung sino man si Wisely na yun. So actually, Kuya Ted, may gusto ko ikwento sa'yo na viral na nangyari. So recently, there was a noontime pageant with a candidate na nung tinanong siya kung ano yung COMELEC, hindi niya alam kung ano yung COMELEC. Eventually, what's interesting is kinuha siya ng COMELEC to be an ambassador to promote to the youth the importance of elections, the presence of COMELEC.
Tama yun. Magandang way yun of informing the public. No? And I think COMELEC probably did the right thing kasi rather than make it negative, parang ginawa niya positive na ginamit nila yung opportunity to make it like a teaching opportunity, a learning opportunity.
Lalo na, I guess, very important for this coming elections, we have 67 million Filipinos registered as voters, and 63% of them are millennials and Gen Z. Siguro we can talk about, Ted, ano yung stakes ng paparating na election ngayon, ngayong 2025. I know it's midterm elections. Maybe you can share some insights on who's leading the polls. What are some tactics that we're seeing for the candidates who are running to reach out to the youth and to the Filipinos?
Well, siguro, I'll explain first what it means by midterms. Now, midterms, I mean, if you're a student, you know, the midterms
trigger yung midterms.
happens in the middle of the sem,
Yes.
diba? It happens in the middle of the term, and therefore what's up for election itong May, no, is half of the Senate, so that means 12 seats, 24 seats yung Senate, but the entire House of Representatives, no, over 300 plus seats in the House of Representatives, governors, mayors,
So local,
council.
yeah.
All of local is up. Everyone in the House is up. Half of the Senate is up. No? So, tama ka. No? Mahalaga yung election na to simply because a greater majority of the public officials who are in charge of governance will be up for election. At pag pinag-usapan natin yung pagbabago, malaking opportunity na pwede mong baguhin yung nangyayari if we elect the right people with the right maybe combination. No? Kasi hindi naman talaga kayang sabihin na isang tao lang, kahit na gaano kagaling, kahit gaano ka inspirational, hindi na kayang gawin mag-isa eh. No? So, meron ka rin tinitingnan dito na right combination of people. No? You have a good mayor, you have a good vice mayor, but kung wala siyang suporta ng konseho niya, then may problema siya. No? So, you have a good senator, pero kung mag-isa siya sa Senado, wala rin siya magagawa masyado. No? So, yun ang tinitingnan natin dito. That's why it's very important.
You mentioned a lot of positions up for this coming elections. Honestly, ako, pretty overwhelmed ako as a voter, di ba?
Right.
Parang paparating, siyang dami kong kailangang pag-isipan. Parang lahat yun kailangan kong alamin. And this is an encouragement for FRC fam. Actually, as we go through this episode, hopefully mas mabigyan natin kayo ng confidence in thinking about how to vote wisely and how to really make the most out of the coming elections. So actually, Kuya Ted, a question in my mind is, bakit ang daming gustong tumakbo? Sa totoo lang, being a public servant, being a politician, it's quite a thankless job. I'm not sure if it pays well or like yung baseline salary ng mga government officials natin. Nakaka-stress yung politiko dito sa Pilipinas. Marami pang sinasabi yung lahat ng mga tao. So why even run for a position?
That's actually a good question, and it's something also I've been thinking about. No, why would someone who values, for example, his or her privacy, who subject yourself, no, every day, na yung
Yes.
buong buhay mo basically,
Bubuksan
ino-open mo,
mo,
bubuksan
oo.
mo, no, to public scrutiny. That's one, no. Every mistake you make, every innocent stumble
Oo.
ay talaga na ma-magnify, lalo na ngayon on social media. So why would they? Maybe the most obvious for people, they would say, okay, public service. Okay, they'll say, gusto ko maglingkod, gusto ko
Make a
magsilbi. So that's
difference.
the first
Yeah.
reason, no? For many, I still think there are still some who will really put that, no? Yun talaga yung habol nila, na maglingkod, tumulong, magbigay ng public service. Pangalawa, bonus na dyan, yung for example, they're paid, reasonably well, no?
Okay.
The salary is, I mean, it's not as big as you would probably get if you were in, business or in a private corporate firm, for example. But decent enough.
Yeah.
You have a budget, you have and then there are perks, of course, right? And then you get known, you get recognition,
Tama.
right? Nakikilala ka. And dito pumapasok yung medyo mas hindi klaro, no? Because there are others na basically whose career path essentially is to just go higher and higher in politics. Mag-umpisa kayo sa pinakamababa, halimbawa lang barangay.
Barangay.
No? Pero ang habol nila.
SK pa nga.
SK, barangay, konseho, vice mayor, mayor, no? Posibleng skip mo yung governor, house, or di kaya diretso ka Senado. And maybe, kung papalarin ka, tumakbo kang presidente, vice president. There are some na talagang ganun yung nakikita ng career path.
Yeah.
Early on, yun yung nakikita nila and then you have the, probably on top of a lot of people's minds, no? Dynasties. The need to protect what they have invested in, no? Siyempre, yung mga nauna sa kanila, tinayo nila yung pangalan, yung brand, yung apelido naging brand, no?
Tama.
Doon sa kanilang distrito, sa konseho, doon sa kanilang probinsya, no? At kailangan ipagpatuloy yon, no? Maaring, and I don't want to be cynical about this, maaring nag-start talaga yan, public service yung habol, no? But later on, naging brand At as you go along, you probably want to say, sayang naman yung pinundar ko dito. Inumpisahan ko yan, pinaganda ko yung pangalan na yan. Kung walang magtutuloy, sayang. For some of them, they started out after college.
Diretso na
They ran for council.
sabak na sa
They ran for, they ran for barangay, they ran for council, and then go up, right?
Pero
may
karamihan sa
ganon.
kanila, kunyari, nag-aaral man lang ng law or ng management.
There are some who do that.
Okay.
There are some who study law. There are who study governance. No, contrary to what many people think, you don't need to be a lawyer to be a member of Congress or the Senate. It helps to some degree, no. But you do need to know the basics of governance. So, pero kung halimbawa, ang isipin mo naman, meron naman akong staff Kaya kong mag-hire ng pinakamagaling na staff. Yun naman yung sigurong kabilang side, no? Those who run because that's what they want. No? Basically, the prominence, the reputation, the perks, right? Without the hard work.
I guess yun yung mahirap alamin talaga, especially on the voters' point of view, na mahalaking bagay kasi yung intention ng mga kandidato
Yes.
sa pagtakbo.
Yes.
And kadalasan, during this election or campaign season, hindi ganun kadali
Yeah.
kilalanin yung intention ng mga kandidato. So, that's why we ask people,
Right.
we research, we watch videos, check their track record, and
Right.
all of those. Ano naman masasabi nyo, Attorney, sa mga artista, mga celebrities, or influencers even ngayon, mga content creators na tumatakbo for office, vying for a position in office?
Alam mo, ayokong lahatin Kasi there are some who, na sabihin mong wala namang alam, quote-unquote, walang formal training, quote-unquote, na tumakbo or nanalo, no? But there are some who have, been able to do good things, right? But siguro ang titingnan ko diyan is, as you said, motives. Bakit ba tumatakbo yan? No? At ano yung gusto niyang gawin doon sa pagtakbo? Kasi doon mo malalaman kung naiintindihan niya yung gusto niyang gawin. For
Okay.
example, pag ikaw ay tumatakbo ng Senado or Kongreso, member of the House, member of the Senate, it's essentially a job that requires you to write laws. Meron ba siyang kakayahan na gawin yun?
Yes.
No? The formal side of writing laws, but also the non-formal side. Doing the research,
thinking about it.
appreciating the background that goes into legislative writing.
Mm.
Meron ba siyang kakayahan doon? Pero kung lahat ng sasabihin niya ay, halimbawa, ako ay tumatakbo para alagaan kayo, para gawin ito sa inyo, patuparin itong lahat, then maybe you have to think, sandali lang, parang mali yung tinatakbo niya. Dapat tumatakbo siyang governor. Dapat tumatakbo siyang mayor. Hindi siya tumatakbong kongreso dapat. Kasi hindi yan yung trabaho ng senador, hindi yan trabaho ng member of the house. No? So, yun yung usisain mo. Kanina, you said a very interesting and important point. You look at the track record, you look at the skill set, no? Aside from the motives. Writing a law. But yung writing a law, again, pwede ka mag-hire ng staff. Tama naman yun eh. Kasama doon, interpellating, right? Asking questions. Being able to find out kung alin yung totoo, alin hindi totoo. Discern, we also use that word. Tama yun eh. Being able to find out kung yung sinasabi sa yung data ay tama, mali. Binobolo mo ba ako or tama yung data mo? Kasi pag mali yung data na pinasok mo at ginamit mo at tinanggap yun, naging basehan ng batas yun. Problema mo, yung batas mo, based on wrong data. So mali na, no? May problema na doon. Furthermore, okay, you're running for the House, okay? Kongresista. It's a small district. Chances are kilala mo lahat ng botante mo, unlike the Senate na national siya, no? But there's a very important role of a member of the House na dapat alam din ng tumatakbo. Kay artista man yan, athlete or influencer, diyan nanggagaling sa House of Representatives yung budget. Marunong ba siyang gumawa ng budget? Nakagawa na ba ng budget yan sa buong buhay niya? Di ba? So, relevant na question. Ikaw ba, magaling ka mag-manage ng finance? Kaya mo tumingin ng budget? Kaya mo tumingin ng budget at sabihin, binobola ako nito. Pwede mo nga tanungin if you get a chance magkano yung presyo ng gulay sa palengke nyo, sa distrito nyo? Magkano yung presyo ng manok? No? At sa tingin mo ba, mura yan o mahal? Di ba? Kaya makikita mo, in the past, may mga politikong gumawa nito, di ba? Lagi silang pumunta sa palengke. Right? Why? That's a populist touch. Na sinasabi niya na kahit na ganitong politician ako, alam ko pa rin kung magkano yung presyo ng manok at gulay. Kung hindi ka pa nakagawa ng budget sa buong buhay mo, kahit na personal pa, then how do you expect to be able to vote intelligently, wisely, on a budget? So yun yung mga ganon, no? Iba talaga yung anyo nila sa kampanya. Kasi sa kampanya, hindi naman talaga nila ilalabas yung hindi mo gusto, di ba? Yung kampanya parang panliligaw yan eh. You present your best side.
Best foot forward.
Exactly, di ba?
Yes.
So, walang politiko during a campaign period who will give you his warts and all. Hindi niya gagawin yun unless wala siyang balak manalo sa eleksyon.
Magandang tanong pala yun, no, sa mga town hall, pati mga campaign rally, sa mga kongresista. Kano po yung manok dito sa atin?
Maraming tao ina-advocate. If you want to solve traffic, try getting caught in traffic.
Exactly.
Yourself, right? Take the MRT, take the jeep, take the bus. Because if you don't understand that, then how can you hope to legislate what you don't understand?
Ano yung mga
di ba?
kailangang ipatupad na
totoo yun, hindi lang
batas.
naman gimmick yun eh. Di ba? Maramdaman mo man lang yung dinadaanan ng botante mo. Kasi otherwise, sabihin ng botante, bakit tayo boboto?
But I guess that's also a huge thing about our politics kasi. Yung, kaya matunog yung mga artista, mga influencer, even political dynasties na household names na yung mga mga apelyido nila sa politika is because malaking bagay talaga yung votes whenever, malamang, coming to elections, but also when you enter politics. Like, hindi ka basta-basta makakatakbo at mananalo lang kung wala kang pangalan, kung hindi ka kilala, kung wala kang influence.
Right.
Parang yun yung nauuna madalas kesa sa track record, kung marunong ka mag-budget, marunong ka mag-finance or anything, di ba?
Speaking of questions,
Hi, Rap. Sorry I couldn't make it, but ganyan talaga, ganti-ganti lang. But to our FRC fam again, hi, it's Chai. But Attorney Ted, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. I was really excited to meet you. I was hoping, baka naman, pwede mong sagutin yung 2 questions that I had. Kasi I'm really interested. I wanted to talk to you more about this. So hope you can answer this. So first one, So it's well known, diba, that misinformation is widespread nowadays. And I think it's useful and it's helpful to our viewers, to our FRC fam, and other voters to know saan ba yung perfect na platform para mag-review, mag-research if they want to get to know more about the candidates and the platforms that they're promoting. Question number 2. So, attorney, kasi ako, like a personal driver, but I drive around and I see in the streets na maraming mga billboards, posters, even on social media, yung mga different party lists. And sino ba yung mga artisan na nakita natin? Are they part of the party list? Are they not? What is a party list all about? How do the voters even choose kung ano yung pipiliin nila to support and to vote for as the party list? And where, again, di ba, kung paano natin malalaman kung ano yung dapat na botohin for that one?
Hi, Chai. Thanks for the question. Sorry, di pa tayo nakita. So maybe sa susunod. Thanks for the question. So let me answer yung una muna. No? Yung disinformation, mahirap talaga yan. Iyan ay phenomenon na hindi lamang limitado sa atin, sa Pilipinas. Nakikita natin yan worldwide. No? Naging pronounced yan, particularly sa atin nung last election, 2022. Disinformation, no? Yung maraming online sites, no? Social media became a hotbed of disinformation as well, no? Dito lumabas yung ating yung tinatawag natin ngayon na kinikilala natin din ng mga troll farms, no? At dito rin nagkaroon ng maraming confrontations, no? Nagkaroon ng maraming conflicts, no? Relations, maraming nag-aaway basically sa social media. Maganda yung tanong mo, saan na yung isang platform wherein you could get reliable information, basically the truth, no, about a candidate or a party, no. Ang alam ko, the COMELEC will usually have opportunities for candidates to air their programs. Ang COMELEC kasi during the election, no, becomes the most powerful agency. It can deputize any agency or office in the country, including the military, no. So for example, even for airtime, kaya niyang kunin yun, no? Kaya niyang kunin yun as part of their information campaign. So, dito nagkakaroon, for example, yung instances na may debates, may town halls, no? Dito pumapasok yun. Kung hindi sapat yun, particularly for the local side, no? Kasi kung local, sobrang dami nun, hindi kaya. The best bet would be to go to their websites, if there are, but when you read the websites, also read those websites with alam mo yung tinatawag na pinch of salt, no? Knowing that galing sa kanila yon, but at least there is a basis for us to also do fact checking. When we look at something, we need to make sure that totoo siya, tama siya, no? And therefore, we need to do some rudimentary fact checking. Tiwala ba tayo dun sa source ng information? Yun yung una, no? Kahit, lalo na pag galing sa kandidato yan, meron siyang i-claim, no? Madali naman i-check kasi kung halimbawa sinabi niya na ako ang gumawa nito, ako sumulat nitong batas na ito, pwede kang pumunta sa website ng Kongreso, Senate or House. Mache-check mo yan, nasa archives yan, no? Lalo na ngayon with this online culture, no? There's a lot you can do online to check, no? But also know that there's a lot also online that is not true. That's why yung perspective natin dito is not to be totally cynical, but also not to shut it out, no? But to have a healthy, fact-checking perspective. No? To say, tingnan ko muna yung objective basis nito. Kung merong re-recommend, for example, ang unang-unang titingnan mo dyan, kilala ba yung taong nagre-recommend? Maganda ba track record nito? Tiwala ba ako dito? Di ba? Ganun naman yun kasi dito papasok yung endorsers, no? At dito ko na rin papasok yung pangalawang tanong mo, yung nakikita mo, sabi mo, yung sa mga billboards, lalo na yung ang dami, no? They will get known people, influencers, no? Mga TikTokers, no? Artista, at minsan magtataka ka, makikita mo yung billboards na yan, na may artista, tapos biglang nakalagay party list. Magtataka ka, yan ba ay member ba siya ng party list, 'di ba?
Siya ba yung tumatakbo?
Siya ba yung tumatakbo, 'di ba? Kung hindi ka aware dun sa party list system, then akalain mo talaga na yung artistang yun ang tumatakbo, no? Kasi siya yung endorser eh. The idea sa party list is to give space for yung tinatawag natin na marginalized. No? When you say marginalized, ito yung mga sectors na in a traditional election would never win a seat, and therefore would be continually underrepresented or not represented. Yun nga, yung handicap, yung mga ganun, ano, na alam mong hindi talaga siya mananalo in a traditional setup kasi walang makinarya, walang pera, walang name recall, no? Pero mas nangangailangan ng representation. Over the years, nag-morph yung party list system, no, into something that's now unrecognizable, no? Naging part siya na-capture siya basically ng traditional political system. Ngayon, pwede nang magpatakbo ng party list yung political party, which if you go back to the history of the party list system, actually defeats the purpose. Ganon yung nangyayari. Kaya nakikita natin, sobrang daming party list. Kaya yung balota natin, haba.
Sobra.
Yung buong
Pero
likod,
isa lang naman yung boboto mo doon.
isa lang ang boboto mo doon. Yung buong likod mo, puro party list yun, di ba? Pero isa lang yung boboto mo doon, no? So, at ang binoboto mo sa party list ay hindi yung tao. Ang party yung binoboto mo. So, mahalagang malaman what that party list group stands for.
So parang what I'm hearing is for the party list, important also na pagdating na, even bago tayo dumating ng elections, hindi lang tayo doon mamimili ng boboto natin. Kasi nga overwhelming siya di ba? Parang I guess, yun yung reason nung pagka-alphabetize, nung pag-randomize ng alphabetical order. Pero dapat hindi hantong sa point na yun, na parang doon ka palang mag-iisip kung sinong party list yung boboto mo. Lalo na kung isa lang naman. And I would think na, kunyari, ikaw part ka ng marginalized sector, whether handicapped, indigenous people, or whatnot, clear sa'yo na kung sino yung boboto mo. Parang ganun lang siya. How about for senators?
Ganun din ang
ano.
Senado. The Senate is a smaller body, 24, no, unlike the House, 300 plus. But the Senate has a national constituency. And therefore, while gumagawa din ng batas ang Senado, no, kasi 2 chambers tayo, House and Senate, no, merong mga ibang functions na naka-reserve exclusively for the Senate. First is the ratification of treaties. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung foreign relations natin, no, we enter into arrangements with other countries through treaties. The President enters into a treaty with another country, let's say with the US. No? At kailangan doon, once pinirmahan ng Presidente yon, na ito yung magiging pag-uusap natin with the US. This will govern what we will do in case na may ganito, halimbawa. Ang treaty na yan hindi maging effective unless i-ratify ng Senado.
Okay. So yun yung counter-check niya.
Dadalhin na sa Senado yan, counter-check yan. So dadalhin sa Senado yan, ang Senado mag-ratify. Yun yung una. Pangalawang bagay na naka-reserve sa Senado is the trial of an impeached officer.
Matunog na
That's
yun yan.
That's a separation. That's a power that's separated. No, one Congress composed of House and Senate. The House has the power to impeach. Pag in-impeach sila, aakyat yan sa Senado. Ang Senado lang ang pwede mag-try. No other agency, organization, not even court can try that person. Only the Senate can try it. Those two are reserved for the Senate. So, mahalaga din malaman kung ikaw ay pipili ng 12 itong Mayo, tingnan mo rin yun, no? Doon sa listahan, meron bang ganitong kakayahan itong mga to na binoboto mo? Bukod lang sa popular sila, bukod sa mabait sila, bukod sa, ganito, yun ang titignan mo.
Marami tayong titignan. Alam ko, overwhelming FRC fam. Matrabaho talaga tong election. Hindi lang dapat para sa mga kandidato, pero para sa atin ding mga botante. Kasi ang inisip natin, medyo long term to di ba? Ilang taon din ng pamumuno sa atin. At sa paggamit ng ating pera, ating tax, di ba? Parang, how is the service of these public servants? Parang kumbaga nag-hire tayo ng kung sino magsaserve at magpapatakbo ng bansa natin. And ang naririnig ko talaga is importance sa loyalty sa mga Pilipino. Parang yun yung crucial factor also in choosing yung mga candidates. Sino ba yung mag-pursue talaga ng agenda ng taong bayan at hindi lang ng agenda nila. So, Attorney Ted, I'm interested to know a few more things. regarding these topics, maybe medyo ma-fast talk vibe. Wow.
Sige.
So like quick statement, top of mind, ano yung masasabi nyo dito? Number 1, how elections is a numbers game. In
Oh,
terms of voting.
definitely. It's really addition. The more votes you get, the higher your chances are of winning. So yes, it is a numbers game.
Should I vote for the one that I truly believe in, kahit na wala siyang chance, or yung strongest opposition to someone who I don't want to win?
I think if you really believe in a person who can make an influence, no. So it is our duty now to make that person winnable. So ang role natin ikampanya siya. While we're doing that, nababanggit din niya ngayon yung mga issues na mahalaga sa kanya. So maybe I'll answer more the first rather than the second.
Voting for just one person in a slate of many.
I think that's a probabilities game, no? But again, elections is a numbers game. The more votes you get, the more your chances of winning. So again, I understand the logic there na isa lang yung iboboto ko para hindi umangat yung iba. But the problem that we have is that pag hindi mo binoto yung ibang kandidato, hindi rin tataas yun, di ba? So kung meron kang pangalawa, pangatlo na gustong umangat, hindi rin aangat. So I think it's risky.
Yes. Block voting.
I don't believe in it because realistically we don't have political parties anymore. So yung block voting works actually if you have good, strong political parties and no hidden agendas. But we don't have strong political parties anymore and we have a lot of hidden agendas. So I don't believe in block voting.
Vote buying.
Unfortunately, it is something that happens. It's wrong, but unfortunately, nangyayari yan, no? So there are ways to go around it. There are ways to address it, no? Ultimately, ang tanong ng mga tao kasi dyan is, saan nagkagaling yung pera? Kaninong pera yung pinagmumudmud mo? No? Kung sarili mo pera, di ba? Parang binabayaran mo ko para sa boto mo. Pero kung boto yan ng pera ng taong bayan yan, no? Then may responsibility ako to vote my conscience, assuming I accept the money.
First is we always hear the separation of church and state. Lalo na matunog yan pag election season. At may boses palagi ang mga kaparian, ang simbahan. So what can you say about the role of priests and church leaders in guiding parishioners in their vote?
I think the church or any faith-based group has a very important role. Why? Because you're talking about conscience. And, that is the realm of faith. That is the realm of priests and church-based people. Priests, nuns, the laity, anyone who is a Christian, anyone who professes a religion, is a citizen in a country. And therefore, duty na yun, trabaho na yun. Ang pinagbabawal lang ng separation of church and state ay gawin ng Estado, the state itself, the secular state, yung isang religion at gagawin niyang batas. Yan ang non-separation of church and state. Kaya for example, if you look at some countries in the Middle East, they are what we call theocracies, where the governors are also the priests. Yan ang hindi allowed. But it is not supposed to mean that yung priests are not supposed to get involved. Because involvement, maraming ways.
Yes.
Advice, guidance, even prayer, that's involvement, right? And so, that's within the role of priests. That's within the role of the faithful.
And also in a democratic country.
Definitely, because they're citizens. So yes, they have an important role and they should play it.
How about lalo na sa reality ng elections ngayon sa Pilipinas, as proven nung past elections natin, madugo in terms of relationships, especially within families.
Yeah.
So, what's one advice that you can give to families in how to handle this coming elections in terms of having space for discussion, sharing of opinion, and probably openness to one another? So, I'm talking about parents to children, children to parents, or siblings, or even to extended families.
Sinabi mo dun sa tanong mo tama yun space, to talk to each other. And I think the important thing there is to talk to each other. We don't necessarily communicate anymore, People, I mean, it's a dying practice that people get together and talk. And just talk, right? And just discuss. It's a dying practice that we have meals together and just talk, right?
Yeah.
So siguro bumalik tayo doon, man lang. Kasi kung walang ganong foundation, kung walang ganong practice, definitely, pag biglang magkita-kita at ang pag-uusapan ay politika, ay mag-aaway yan. Sigurado. Kasi walang foundation eh. Hindi sanay na mag-usap. Hindi sanay na makinig, no? Ang magulang sa anak at anak sa magulang, no? Two-way, no? Hindi kasi ibig sabihin nun na dahil magulang ka ay hindi mo papakinggan yung anak mo. Hindi ibig sabihin nun, you have to agree with everything.
Yes.
But listen, right? Same with the children to the parents. You don't necessarily have to say, dahil parents ko sila, lahat tatanggapin ko. Makikinig ka muna, di ba? Makikinig ka muna. That's how you develop critical thinking. That's how you develop consciousness. And so, start there, no? Mahirap siyang biglain na kung walang, and it's unfortunate na totoo yan na there are families that do not have a relationship with each other. They're just families, but they don't have a relationship with each other. It's important that they have a relationship with each other. And these are the opportunities they can do that, no? Get together. Matagal nang nawala siguro sa iba yung Sunday meals, right? Yung get together or just get together for no reason other than to get together.
Yeah.
That's how you build it up eh. Kasi as with anything, di ba? You need to build it and then form it and then make it strong. Similar to that. So, kung hindi sanay yung pamilya na nag-uusap sila, hindi mo pwedeng biglain.
Tama.
No? At pumasok yung anak at sasabihin sa tatay, Tay, hindi mo dapat iboto yan kasi ganito. At sabihin na tatay, sino ka para sabihin sa akin yan? Anak lang kita. Yung dynamic ay hindi sanay na ganon. Hindi sanay na nakikinig sa isa't isa, hindi sanay na nag-uusap. Pag binigla mo, lalong makasama. There is time to do that, no? And so I think the important thing is for families to really be families, no? To talk, to discuss, to listen to each other. Yung space, yung sinasabi mo yung space, no? Lalo na ngayon, siguro in an age of social media, no? Tatawagin nilang old-fashioned, no? Pero yung pwede ba tayo magkaroon ng dinner na walang tumitingin sa telepono? Yung mga ganong klase. I mean, old-fashioned yan sa karamihan. And many young ones will say, baduy naman nun, corny naman nun, di ba?
But probably needed.
Probably
during this
needed,
time.
right? 1 hour, what's 1 hour wherein you just talk to each other, right? Share with each other what went on in your day. But that's how you get that discussion done.
Come together first as a family. Siguro yun yung kaya marami ring nagkawatak-watak at parang hindi pagkakaintindihan ng mga election kasi na-break kaagad ng ganun parang polarizing na issue among families without having a good foundation with their relationship. And last, Attorney Ted, what do you think are the considerations? Last insight na lang to, like collective as we leave our FRC fam to think about the coming elections. What do you think are the considerations for the voting public for this coming elections in light of what can happen to our country in the future?
Siguro kailangan tingnan dyan on a bigger basis, on a bigger perspective. Ano yung vision na dala-dala nito mga tumatakbo, no? What's their vision for the country? It's easy to have a big vision. So titingnan mo rin doon kung yung sa vision na yun, titingnan mo rin kung yung may kakayahan sila na ma-implement yung vision. Kasi madaling kumopya ng vision.
Yeah.
Di ba? I want to make the Philippines a better Philippines. I want to make it ganito. Ang dali, with big, bold, glowing terms. But then you get to, how do you do that? Then you need to take a look at that. No? Kasi mahalaga yan. One thing about politics, one thing about candidates, right? And again, we can say, pwede mo naman palitan yun eh. Ang problema kasi minsan, political mistakes become permanent. No? Nagiging permanente talaga. Kasi pag nagkamali yung policy, permanente yan. Baka hindi mo basta-basta maurong eh.
Yeah.
Diba? So, it's important not to make a mistake up front. Kung kaya mong iwasan yung mali, iwasan mo na. Diba? And so, dito papasok yung discerning. No? Yung vision ba nitong kandidatong ito, consistent sa nakikita mo, doesn't need to be aligned on everything. Right? But on the bigger picture, no? Pangalawa, ito bang kandidato on a personal basis, no? Tingin mo ba aligned ito doon sa paniniwala mo? No? Kasi ang pinaka-tragic siguro is yung alam mo nang hindi aligned sa paniniwala mo yan, iboboto mo pa rin, 'di ba? Yun yung mahirap maintindihan. No, yung sinasabi lang may cognitive dissonance ka. Alam mo na ngang hindi dapat yan, binoto mo pa, 'di ba? So dapat tingnan mo kung aligned kasi boto mo 'yun eh. That's your most personal expression, right? Yung boto mo. So pag binoto mo 'yan, ibig sabihin sinusuportahan mo 'yan. So tatanungin ka, sinusuportahan mo 'yan, eh magkaiba kayo ng paniniwala, right? Hindi mo mapapaliwanag yan. Bakit ko siya binoto? Di ba? Pwedeng sabihin, kasi kaibigan ko siya eh. Or si kaibigan ko, sumusuporta lang ako. Pero paano yung paniniwala mo? Di ba? So importante yan sa atin, I think, as citizens and also as Christians, no? To say, my values, no, align sa kanya. Again, hindi kailangan lahat, majority, no? At least a number of which you're comfortable with.
Yes.
Right? Na kahit na merong ibang issues na hindi tayo pareho, pero on the whole, comfortable ako na ganun yung values niya. Tapos pangatlo yung skill set, no? Meron ba siyang kakayahan na gawin yun, no? Tapos yung pinakahuli siguro, character, no? Ito bang taong to, titiklop to pag dumating niya yung mahirap na mga decisions. Itong taong to, may integrity ba to? Right? Kasi pumapasok lahat ng yung mga issues, halimbawa ng pagnanakaw, corruption, it all flows from integrity and character eh. Kung alam mong walang character yan, mahina integrity niyan, alam mo na nga may track record halimbawa na may problema na yan,
or criminal
na nga siya, ilalagay mo pa, talaga may problema, di ba? So titingnan mo pa rin dyan integrity, character, kasi napakalaki ng temptation, no? There's a lot of power, there's a lot of money. And that saying is actually true eh. Political power corrupts and political power corrupts absolutely, no? Talagang makokorrupt ka, matetempt ka talaga. Pag mahina-hina yung loob mo, yung character mo, talagang matatangay ka eh. So, yung last na titingnan ko siguro dyan would be that, no? Kaya ba niyang manindigan? Kaya ba niyang tumayo at sabihin, mali yan eh. Kahit na mag-isa akong tatayo dyan at sabihin ko, mali yan, hindi ko iboboto, hindi ko gagawin niya pag nasa Senado na ako, nasa Kongreso na ako, nasa Konseho na ako, hindi ko gagawin kasi mali siya. Then, I'd go for that person. Kasi alam kong pag mali, pag tama, tama.
And one quick message that you probably can leave our youth with, Attorney Ted?
Yeah, I mean, for the youth, no, many of you took part in the 2022 election. That's probably your first time that you invested, that you took a stand, that you made your voice heard, no? And I know that many probably were not happy with what happened. Maybe others were happy, no? But that whole exercise was your first, your initiation into this entire political process. No? So I think what the youth has in your favor, no, is not just idealism, no, but I think the ability to adapt to what is going on, to learn from mistakes, to learn from what shouldn't be done, no, and I think that's one thing that you have, no. So aside from idealism, you have resiliency, no. Ang kailangan na lang siguro is for you to take a look back at 2022 when you first joined this. And siguro continue to maintain that outlook that you can still make a difference for the country. So I would siguro encourage you to just continue looking at this entire political process as something wherein you can put your hope in. No? You can work for it. You can try to make it better. I know it is not the best system. Many would say it is broken down. No? But you can actually try to make it better. And I hope that we will continue to do that.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Ted,
Welcome,
for
Rap.
sharing your insights and expertise. Alam ko malaki ang experience niya sa elections and sa legal side na ako wala masyadong alam, to be honest. And so marami ako natutunan sa inyo. And hopefully, pati yung FRC fam natin. Maybe apply all of these sa paparating na election. Again, hindi lang sa pag-upo natin doon at pagboto mismo. Pero over this campaign period, like how can we conduct ourselves more to be more responsible and responsive as Filipino citizens in this coming elections? So thank you for joining us, FRC fam, and thank you also, Chai, for joining us kahit briefly for our episode. So, outro na natin.
Again, it's Chai.
And Rap, who leave you with the wise words of Venerable Patrick Peyton that
The family that prays together stays together.
and a world at prayer is a world at peace. May God's peace reign in our country, especially this coming elections.
Bye, FRC fam! See you in the next month's episode, physically.
See you, FRC fam. Salamat, Kuya
Thank you.
Ted.
Thank you, Rap.